Welcome to CAS 133, Columbia Gorge Community College, the Dells, Oregon, Mrs. Hughitt instructor. We are on to finals week. We're going to be talking about your final project. And there are actually 3 videos and 3 PowerPoints to go with this. This is kind of the big intro one and PowerPoint, and then there's one on Photo Story and one on iMovie, depending on what your choices are. So, for all of your projects, you're going to need to have the title and direction, or title and name on the front slide. On all the PowerPoints, there are icons with more information on each slide. This is kind of an overview. You do need to view the actual PowerPoints and listen to the audio files for full directions, hints, tricks, and how to avoid disasters. It is due during the finals week at the end. It's due on Saturday night as usual. There is no late work week, which means that it closes at 8 a.m. on Sunday, having been due at midnight on Saturday. Do not wait till 7:55 a.m. to upload, because sometimes these take a while to upload, and if you start to upload and the link closes, you're out of luck. So I would start definitely early. Also, sometimes students have to go someplace to upload, just depending on how large your file is and how slow your internet is for that. If you have good, fast, screaming internet, then no big deal. Start an hour or so early. You should be good to go. However, if you are on a 26K dial-up or satellite or something else that does the hokey pokey versus the upload, and it takes forever, then you may need to go find faster internet, because if you don't, what happens is it times out and won't upload. And a few students every term run into this if they have slow internet, especially if you're kind of rural and they're not, near a town. If that's the case, go up to the Dells, sit on the campus with your laptop, upload. Go to Sherry's, go to downtown the Dells. If you live in Hood River, there's a Sherry's there. They have free internet. Plan to buy something for their offering of free internet. Get a Pepsi and a piece of pie or something, and do your upload in your internet. So what are some of the musts in this? We'll kind of walk through it. You must complete the final project and upload it on time. If your project's not done or not uploaded by the ending of the link, then the highest grade for the class you can get is a C. If you already have a low C and you lose 100 points by not doing this, you may get a D, and a D is not a passing grade. All CAS classes to get credit must be a C or above. If you want to do sound or music with PowerPoint, you're most likely going to have some issues with it. I would suggest Photo Story or iMovie would be a better option. Think about ways you can use the PowerPoint, the Photo Story, or the iMovie. Make it a story and not just a pile of pictures. Hey, I went on vacation. Here are my pictures. Where'd you go? What'd you do? Who's in the pictures? I don't know the people. How am I going to know that? It has very little interest to just see a pile of pictures. So make it into a story. Scrapbook it maybe. Do something. Add captions, add information. Do an audio like I do for PowerPoints. It's under Insert, Audio, Record. It's very simple to do. Tell who's in the picture. Tell what's going on. Tell where it is. All those types of things. Then also, the other options, if you want to, you can do the PowerPoint or Photo Story that we've mentioned, and they have separate directions. So kind of from here, that's true for all of them, whether you're doing a PowerPoint, a Photo Story, or iMovie. Don't just give me a pile of pictures. Now, these are directions that now are becoming specific to the PowerPoint assignment. You have to have a 6-body slide for a total of 8 for a C. That's a low C. So what do you have to have? You have to have the title slide and the sources slide. So don't forget to have a total of 8, with 6 of those being that body part, which are your actual content. Now, when it says if needed on the sources slide, sometimes you won't need a source slide. If all the pictures are yours, you didn't do any research, you're basically showing or telling about your family vacation or baking cookies with your grandkids or whatever it is, a cool trip. Obviously, all you need to do then is just note that all pictures were taken by you and you're good to go, and you really don't need a sources slide. So therefore, in that case, you would need an appropriate closing slide. Again, make sure your name's on the title slide. You do need pictures and clip art included. You need to use themes and backgrounds, animations and transitions, all those cool things we've learned. Please don't turn it in a 25-slide PowerPoint with nothing but written text and a colored background. You might have made PowerPoints that way before this class, but after this class, hopefully you can do much more than that. Also, this is not a sociology research paper or anything like that. So please make sure that that isn't your focus, that your focus is really the technology. Your sources do need to be cited, which means you do need to follow copyright, and I am a big believer and supporter of being legal and following copyright. So therefore, if you do not, your grade drops. Be very careful on pictures. Pictures must be cited on the slide that you are putting the picture on, so the www at the bottom, or if you've scanned it from a book or whatever, then that needs to be put down on the bottom of the slide. When I say the bottom, I do not mean the notes section. I mean right on the slide where your audience will, in fact, see that information. Also, if you took the pictures, please make sure you give yourself credit, because if you don't, some of you are really good photographers. I've had pictures come in that look professional quality, and I have to assume you've taken them from someplace but didn't give sources. And turns out they were your pictures. So please make sure you give yourself credit if you're the person taking the pictures. I have no way of knowing that if you don't say so. Also, if you do any research or information, maybe you have a picture, you're doing a geology one and you've done some research and you're telling about that rock formation or whatever. If it's not information you currently know and you had to look it up, then you need to cite the sources, just like we did when we did Word. It can be footnoted, it can be MLA cited, and it's going to go to a sources page on the end. By the way, saying I used Bing or I used Google Images as a citing of your sources does not work. How would I go to that exact page that has that exact picture or that exact information from that type of a citation? I can't. Therefore, it did not cite your source. It cited the brand of the company you used. Bing and Google are simply brands. That is not a page. So you have to say, I use page www.greatart.com, not I use Google Images. Because when you clicked on the image, it went to the page. It was called www.greatart.com. By the way, I don't know if that's a real web page, so don't go looking for it. I made it up. If you meet the minimum requirements, that means you have the 8 slides, you will get a C. If you want an A or a B, you need to do more. So if you meet the minimum 8 slides, but you really do a wow factor to it, you might get a little higher than a C. But the bottom line is, if you want an A or a B, you need to add more slides and you need to add the wow factor. It's hard to define exactly what a wow factor is, but I can tell you it's really easy to know, because when somebody opens up their PowerPoint and starts presenting it in class, in a face-to-face class situation, which we do not have, and everybody goes, wow, you've got the wow factor. It's that simple. Show your PowerPoint to somebody and see if they go, wow, cool, that's nice. If so, you've got the wow factor. If they say, that's good, maybe you don't have the wow factor and you want to do a little more wow. However, wow doesn't mean I'm throwing everything in that I possibly know and I'm trashing it. There's a difference between wow and trashed. Wow is not necessarily created by every tool that exists. It's created by picking and choosing the tools that work well in a way that is cool, that turns out really nice. It's not throw everything in. So think about how you could actually use this presentation. A lot of them are made for families. They may be made for 50th wedding anniversaries or memorials to parents or family members that are no longer with us. Maybe they're made as a gift, a wedding present. What a great gift to a new bride is to put together their wedding in a presentation and present it to them. I did it for all my kids when they got married. I did it for all the babies when they were born. So it's just something that's kind of a cool keepsake for people to have. So think about that. If you want to make something for work, maybe your boss has asked you to do something, make sure that what he's or she's asked you to do is compatible with what I'm requiring, because it doesn't do you any good to turn in a presentation that you made for work that doesn't have the wow factor, isn't long enough, isn't, and then wonder why I grade it down. Because remember, I'm grading the technical parts. If you're going to use a school one, there are some warnings for it. It cannot be from an earlier term. It cannot be from earlier in this term before we did PowerPoint. It cannot be from any type of a group or partner project. It must be something you've created in just the last couple of weeks for it. And it cannot be something that's just slide after slide after slide of information, because I'm not going to grade your sociology research, because I really don't care about your sociology research. I care about how you built your PowerPoint. And if all I get is 25 slides of sociology, your sociology teacher might be jumping up and down going, oh, great paper, and I'm going to be going, really? This was your PowerPoint presentation for technology class? Oh. Obviously not your better grade. So keep those things in mind. And other fits in there because a lot of times students have really creative ideas of things they'd like to do, and that's fine if you come up with another idea. Some things you can try. Quick styles, word art, shapes, shape effects, design, colors. You can do cool things with designs, with colors, with fonts, with effects. You can do pictures and textures as backgrounds, as you've learned, add tables and charts and drawings. You can add paint or paintbrush pictures to it. You can do headers and footers. You can do hyperlinks, or you can insert an object. You have all those types of things as options. And then these slides basically talk about how to insert hyperlinks and objects a little bit for you, and kind of talks about doing some animations and transitions and zipped files. Now, most students do not need to zip a file. Most of you will just upload your PowerPoint, and that is perfect. However, if you decide to be the student that has to try to put music in, then you need to make a folder, save your PowerPoint in the folder before you even start to build it. Build it while it's saved in the folder. Put the music in the folder, insert the music. If you're going to do a video, put the video in the folder, insert the video, save it, and then you're going to need to zip that file and upload it. Otherwise, the video and the music, it doesn't make it. The rest of you, if you just have pictures, and like our textbook, pictures and clip arts and animations and even the audio like I'm doing now, that's no problem. It'll stay right with the PowerPoint. You do not need to zip it. I always kind of look at PowerPoints that are, just sort of PowerPoints that are turned in a zipped folder going, student doesn't understand what they're doing. And that's usually some points off, because you're showing me you don't quite get when you need to zip and when you don't need to zip. So please make sure that you really understand what you're doing. Remember, zipping is only if you're adding music or video. Zipping is not for just regular PowerPoints. And they have pictures, and they can have audio like I'm doing. They can have clip art. They can have animations. They can have colors. They can have all those cool things, and you do not have to zip. If you're doing a photo story or an iMovie, we'll discuss this more in their videos and in their things. But remember, you do not have to zip those. Basically, making the video is a zipping type of thing, and all you'll need to do is make sure you upload the WMV or the MOV file when you do the upload for credit. And I think that would take care of the zipping conversation. Extra credit, if you're wanting extra credit, you can do 2 of the textbook projects, and they would already need to be done by this point. Or if they're not done at this point, then you can do a second final project. You can do 2 PowerPoints. You can do a photo story in a PowerPoint or an iMovie in a PowerPoint. If you have a PC available and a Mac available to you, you can do a photo story in an iMovie. You could do an iMovie at home and go to the college and do a photo story, whichever way you'd like to do it. The one you like the best, the one you think has the most wow factor or gets that response from people that look at it for you, then that's the one you're going to want to upload as your final project because that's worth 100 points. The other one is the one you'll want to upload as the extra credit final project because it will get 40 points. And then again, as it said earlier on Photo Stories, make sure you upload the WMV file, not the WP3 file. iMovie's the same thing. Make sure you upload the MOV file, not the iMovie RAW file, because I cannot even open that. If you have questions, be sure to ask. Send me an email, and I will see what I can do to help you.